In the last decade, China has reinvented itself at a pace that feels almost science fiction. Once branded as the planet's manufacturing hub, it now pushes into technologies once considered exclusive to American labs. When NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang warned that China was only nanoseconds behind the US in chipmaking, he wasn't being poetic. He was acknowledging how quickly Beijing had shifted gears, and if you've ever watched China's massive military parades, complete with synchronized drone swarms and polished war machines, it's easy to walk away convinced that the country is building unstoppable next-generation firepower. But among all the glossy hardware on display, one machine stands at the center of attention: the Chengdu J-20 Mighty Dragon. China calls it its answer to America's stealth supremacy. Critics call it something far less flattering. So, is the J-20 truly a fearsome sky hunter, or is it more of a well-painted paper dragon? Let's break down the myth and examine the machine, a dragon designed to challenge the Raptors. The J-20 is more than just another sleek jet. It's the crown jewel of China's Air Force. With an estimated 300 aircraft already in service, it represents the world's largest fleet of stealth fighters outside the Western Bloc. China positioned it as a direct response to America's F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II, both defining symbols of air dominance. On paper, the J-20 looks impressive. Sharp lines, a large internal fuel capacity, room for advanced long-range missiles, and a profile designed to slip through the sky with minimized radar reflection. For a country that struggled for decades to move beyond basic jet fighters, the J-20 appeared to be a monumental leap toward high-end air combat. Yet when experts peeled back the layers, they found 5 major issues hiding beneath the metallic scales of the mighty dragon. Issues that cast doubt on its ability to challenge the world's top fighters. A dragon with a weak heart. If a jet's airframe is its skeleton, the engine is its beating heart. It controls everything that matters in a dogfight: speed, climb rate, maneuverability, and even stealth. And this is where China has historically struggled. The early J-20s didn't fly with Chinese engines at all. Instead, they relied on modified Russian AL-31 FM2 engines, which originated in the Soviet era. These engines were rugged and reliable, but far from modern. They didn't offer the thrust needed for sustained supersonic flight without afterburners, something the American F-22 mastered decades ago. And while Chinese engineers painted the J-20 as a stealth aircraft, the engines betrayed it. They emitted strong infrared signatures and lacked the advanced shaping required to avoid radar. Beijing responded by installing the WS-10C, a domestic engine that improved overall performance. But even this upgrade still couldn't match the engine sitting inside Western stealth jets. Thrust fell short, efficiency lagged, and pilots reportedly faced reliability issues during high-stress maneuvers. China's long-promised solution is the WS-15, an engine designed to finally give the J-20 the raw power and supercruise capabilities it needs. After years of delays, the WS-15 entered limited production, and a few J-20s sporting the engine surfaced in 2023. But that small handful hardly solves the problem. Most of China's fleet still runs on engines that simply cannot compete with the F-22's twin Pratt & Whitney F-19s, which remain unmatched in thrust and maneuverability. Until the WS-15 becomes the norm rather than the exception, the mighty dragon is flying with a soft heart, a dragon that still leaves footprints. Stealth is an unforgiving science. It relies on every angle, every coating, every seam, and even every engine nozzle. When the US Air Force says the F-22 has the radar cross-section of a marble, they're not exaggerating for effect. It is designed so meticulously that even slight deviations could compromise the entire aircraft. The J-20, meanwhile, carries several design weaknesses that make it far easier to detect. The issue begins with its size. At over 75 feet long, the J-20 is one of the largest modern fighters ever built. In stealth design, size is the enemy. More surface area means more radar reflections. While the front of the J-20 is shaped carefully to reduce detection, its sides and rear tell a different story. Early models exposed their round engine nozzles, a glaring weakness in a stealth aircraft. Only recently has China begun hiding them behind serrated structures, but aging airframes still reveal their presence like a flare in the night. Even more concerning is the J-20's frequent public appearances. China routinely displays the aircraft at parades and air shows, giving military observers around the world the perfect opportunity to gather data. In 2018, India's Air Chief Marshal openly claimed that Su-30 MKI fighters could detect J-20s from several kilometers away, a statement that sparked global debate. While China disputed the claim, the underlying point remained. Stealth weaknesses existed, and they weren't subtle. For an aircraft meant to slip into contested airspace unseen, this is a problem that cannot be brushed aside. Avionics and sensor fusion. In modern air combat, information is the real weapon. The fighter that sees the other first wins, and this is where American jets still soar miles ahead. The F-22's sensor fusion system is a technological monster. Its processors merge radar data, infrared signals, electronic warfare inputs, and even off-board intelligence into a single intuitive picture. Pilots describe flying the jet as having a sixth sense. China claims that breakthroughs in semiconductor materials like silicon carbide have dramatically boosted the J-20's radar. State media once suggested it could even detect stealth jets from hundreds of miles away. That claim conflicts with decades of radar physics. Even the most advanced active electronically scanned array radars on American fighters cannot detect low observable aircraft at such distances. The truth is simpler and far less dramatic. China is catching up, but sensor fusion requires decades of incremental refinement. It demands software ecosystems, training cycles, combat data, and real-world testing. China has made major progress, but it hasn't matched America's level of maturity in these systems. The J-20's integration still appears less fluid, less tested, and far more limited in chaotic, fast-moving engagements. Without world-class avionics, a stealth jet loses the core advantage that makes stealth fighters so terrifying. A dragon that doesn't like close combat. The J-20 was never meant to twist and tumble in tight dogfights. Its purpose is long-range interception. With its large internal fuel capacity and long-range PL-15 missiles, the J-20 is built to strike from far away, not brawl in a visual range engagement. But war rarely respects design intentions. If a J-20 is dragged into a close-range dogfight, it faces a harsh reality. The J-20 is large, heavy, and most variants lack thrust-vectoring engines. Its canard design, while beneficial for lift, creates additional radar reflections and complicates high-G maneuvering. Worst of all, the jet has no internal cannon. If its missiles miss at close range, it has nothing to fall back on. On the other side of the sky sits the F-22, a jet so agile that pilots describe it as telepathic. It can perform insane post-stall maneuvers, switch directions abruptly, and dance around targets with impossible fluidity. In a dogfight between the two, the mighty dragon would survive only if it kept the fight at arm's length. Up close, it becomes prey, the dragon that has never been tested. Perhaps the most striking issue with the J-20 isn't physical at all. It is experience, or the lack of it. The J-20 has never seen real combat. It has never flown into a zone bristling with enemy radar, never faced seasoned pilots in real engagements, never operated under unpredictable battlefield conditions. Everything known about the J-20 is based on controlled exercises, simulations, or carefully staged demonstrations. The F-35, in contrast, has participated in operations across the Middle East and beyond. The F-22, while rarely deployed, has spent decades flying multinational training missions that push the jet and its pilots to their limits. American aircraft accumulate wisdom through experience, something that cannot be reverse engineered or claimed through state media broadcasts. In the world of air combat, untested means unproven, and unproven means unreliable when the stakes reach life or death levels. If you enjoyed this deep breakdown of modern stealth warfare, make sure to hit like, tap subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss our next dive into the world of cutting-edge military technology. Stay curious, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next mission.